Yeah, just about as groovy as a 10-cent movie. I'm your man, Calvin Gibbs, and you're listening to Drama Talk Radio Podcast. As you know, Drama Talk is the show where the word drama, DRAMA, stands for developing real and moving art. This is the show that I've been waiting for a while. My guest today has done it all. She is the executive director of Blue Sky Rhythm Productions and the president of C. Phoenix Tyler Productions. Her work has been hailed as prolific, brilliant, and outstanding. She is a staple here in Chicago, and there's always a positive and powerful message in all of her works, and she never, ever uses profanity. Please welcome Phoenix Tyler to Drama Talk Radio. Welcome, Phoenix.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Mr. Gibbs.
Yes, you have been busy for I don't know how many years. You've had several shows that have went up here in Chicago, different stage plays, and they've been on the road all over the place. One of them I remember, Child Support. I saw that one. And From Slavery to the White House, that's the one I thought was just outstanding. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Child Support and From Slavery to the White House?
Okay, so Child Support is about supporting the child holistically. It's not just about giving money, but supporting your children socially, economically, emotionally, educationally, in every aspect. And it's not a male bashing play. That's one thing I make sure I don't do is I don't do those plays or movies that bash males or that beat people on top of the head. Two women get served child support papers as well as two men. And so it's just about coming together and doing what's right for the child so you can raise a productive citizen, in the world. That's what child support is about.
Great.
So excited.
Great. Now, From Slavery to the White House, I remember when President Obama had gotten elected. This was hot. Yes. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's my baby, From Slavery to the White House, because it takes us through the history of African Americans being in America. The play actually starts in Africa, and we go through every era to the present day, to today. Because each year, we have more history, we add more onto the production, and so it's very fast paced. It's an emotional show. We laugh, we dance, we cry, and sometimes the actors are so choked up backstage because of one intense scene. It's hard to transition to that next scene if it's an upbeat scene. So It's a historical lesson. It's a historical lesson, and it in which needs to be told to continue to pass down our history, to the younger generation. It's my baby. I love this. It's by far my favorite.
It's a very exciting and, as you said, emotional play when you think about the journey that African Americans have taken from Africa and our involvement in this country. Now, based on what has happened in the last presidency and the last election, do you think there might be an addition to that?
Almost. Oh, go ahead. Almost definitely. Each year, we add on, and we haven't done. I think we haven't done it in a couple of years. I think since 2017. So when we do it again, we're hoping that this pandemic will have died down, so we can perform it again in 2021. We're shooting for Dallas, and we'll add the history onto it. We have to add to it, and each city that we tour in, that we perform in, we'll add that city's history. And so the audience members will learn something about their city. So we're always adding to each time, each year, each place we tour.
Fantastic. And that does bring a personal connection with the audience members to the play.
Yes.
Smart. Very good. Now, you also You've gotten several awards. I'm looking at the list here. You're the recipient of the Hardest Working Actor Award that was awarded by the Tom Joyner morning show on
Yes.
106.3 FM.
Yes.
You also mentored the national. You're a mentor with the National Cares program. I never
Yes.
heard of that. What is that about?
That's with Susan Rice. I remember Susan Rice from Essence Magazine.
Sure.
She started that mentoring program in New York, and they spearheaded everything in Chicago. So Chicago is a pilot program, and it was actually a beautiful thing to do because they started the program at my old high school, Harlan High School, and one of the young ladies who was over the program, who worked with the program, kept coming at me. Come on, I need you at Harlan. I need you at Harlan. And so I got over there, and once I saw what they were doing and I saw what our students needed, it it was no question. It was like, okay, I'm here. What do you need? At first, I started off, I think, one day a week, and then I just couldn't help it. Giving back to our students is so important. Giving back to the youth, and so if you can. If you can give back, if you can reach back or volunteer or mentor, that's the best thing that you could ever do for someone in their lives, to guide them in the right direction. So yeah, that's National Cares with Susan Rice, and Harlan is called Harlan Rising. That's the program.
Fantastic. And yes, I definitely agree with that. I often speak to the youth at, about making good choices because,
Yes.
especially with our people, with our youth, all it takes is one mistake, one wrong lapse of judgment to really screw your life up. So,
Yeah, that's
so I enjoy speaking to them, trying to empower them and get them to think before they do anything. Always think. There's always a moment of truth where you can choose one thing which will be okay, or something that may not be good, or you may think may cause problems. That's something you probably should not do.
that's right.
Always that moment of truth, and that moment of truth sometimes can dictate how your life is going to go. So yeah, being a mentor is a very big thing. But Phoenix, you touched upon COVID-19, and those of us that are in the theater world or have connections to performing arts have seen a change of how performing arts is now done because of this COVID environment. And during the COVID-19, there was some history that you made. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, well, I knew that I wanted to do something to keep the actors motivated, to keep us together, because the actors that I have worked with. We just don't do shows together. We're really like a family, and so we always talk to each other, keep up with each other, and so we're like, okay, we missed each other, and we had just done a show. Are we equal? And so people were texting me, okay, what are we going to do? This is a pandemic. We thought we had other shows lined up, and then once the pandemic hit, it canceled it. And so I was just asking God, what exactly can I do that would be different, that could keep the momentum going? And he just said, start doing virtual plays. I was like, virtual plays? How do I do that? I wasn't even familiar with Zoom like that. And so we did 10 plays in 5 weeks, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We had shows, and we aired them live on Facebook as well as Zoom, and we put them on YouTube. And we were picked up by Channel 2, heard what we were doing, and they put us on the air regarding it. So we were really excited about it.
Cool. And that channel 2 is CBS here in Chicago.
Yes, that's correct.
So that is a big deal. And congratulations to you for that.
Thank you.
When you talk about the connection of actors on stage, in person with the audience, and you think about a virtual environment, how does, in your opinion, how does that connection change? Are there any variants in it?
Oh, big time. Because when you're live, you can feel the energy of the audience members. and you feel their emotions. Like when we do From Slavery to the White House, we did one show, and it was so silent when we got to the 70s, the 60s and 70s, and generally the audience, they're excited at this point, but this particular audience, they stayed in the slave era through the struggles, and they never caught up emotionally, and we felt that. So we had to work harder to try to pull them. When you're performing virtually, it's like you're looking at the camera and you don't have as much feedback. So you really have to fine tune your skills and come from your core even more to give the audience the emotions that you want to portray at that time. So it was very different, and not having the actors in the same room because everyone was at home. Eugene was in Las Vegas, Terrence was in Texas, and we had one of our actors was in North Carolina. But we still came together. But you really have to fine tune your emotions. You have to find it on your own. You don't necessarily have the help right in front of you feed off that energy. So you just have to dig deeper when you do it virtually.
Okay, great. And I will agree with something else that you said earlier, that your group of actors that you work with on a continual basis, that you guys are like family. I talk to a lot of people in theater, and when I come across those actors that have worked with you, yes, it does seem like you all are connected. Um, Charles Hemphill, Terrence
Yes.
Martis, yeah, they always
Yes.
have good things to say about Phoenix
Yes.
Tyler. Several of them have said to me, "When you gonna have Phoenix on the show? When you gonna have Phoenix on the show?" Okay, I'm going to get to her. Calm down. I'm going to get to her. So that's a
Yeah.
good thing, that you have that circle of
Yeah.
people that are dependent on each other and are willing to
Right.
help each other grow. But when
Right.
you talk about your dreams, following your dreams, how do they fall into that attitude of following your dreams? And I know you're big on speaking life into what you do. I believe in that also. I believe in calling things that are not as if they actually
That
do exist.
work. That's right.
That's right. That's how that that's faith. That's what makes
Yes.
that's what makes things work. Uh,
That's right.
so how do you follow your dreams? How do you go about speaking life into what you do?
Calvin, one of the things that I do is I'm always positive, and people will tell you you can do it. There's my grandmother would say, she had a saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And when I was a kid, I was like, okay, what does that mean? A cat? What am I going to kill the cat? I didn't get it. But if you can't do it one way, there's another way that you can always do something. You have to stay focused and you have to stay positive. And if sometimes you might have family members or friends who might say, "Oh, girl, why are you trying to do that? Nobody ain't ever did that." Okay, well, I'll be the first. So you have to continue on to know it and to believe it and to speak it. And just like you said, speak it as though it's in existence, and it will be in existence. Um, if you, I can't tell you how many people that I've run across. Let's say they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and they're like, "Gosh, I always wanted to do this with my life." I'm like, "Gosh, well, why didn't you do it?" That's because someone might have told them, "Nope, you're going to do this," or they might say, "Well, no, that's a big risk I'm going to take." What's wrong with taking a risk? If you're passionate about something, you have to do it because you end up regretting what not doing it. And if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to give your best. And you want to always give your best and be your best and do your best. And you do that if you're passionate about something. If God gave you a gift, you have to roll with it. And when you roll with it, it's like a feeling I can't explain, that you're actually doing what you're put on this earth to do. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So you have to follow your dream. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow and say, "That's it.
Right.
I'm going to Vegas. I want to be a showgirl." Have a plan, but chip away at it. Go at it. I mean, just do it. You just have to do it, and you just have to know you're going to be great at what you do. If this is what you were designed to do, don't do something because other people want you to do it. You have to do what you want to do. Um, there's a young lady that she's a professional in one field, but she always wanted to be a social worker. And to this day, gosh, I regret I didn't become a social worker. I'm like, hey, it's never too late. I don't care if you're 75, 80, 90. It's never too late to go after your dreams and to believe in what you're doing.
That is true. That is true. And also, when you're going after that dream, treat it as if failure is not an option.
Yes, that's right.
You
That's
cannot
right.
fail. There's no way that you can fail. Of course, you're going to come across obstacles, and
Right.
you're going to have to figure out how to get around, under, or through it. But failure is not an obstacle.
Not an option. Not an option. You're right. It's not an obstacle.
Not an option. In my earlier years, I was training to be an engineer. In fact, I went to high school for that. And one thing that I take away from those years, and it's always with me, is that there's always a solution.
Yep.
There's always a solution. It may not be easy. It may not even be something that you can physically think of at the moment, but given some time and some circumstances to fall into place, there's always a solution to whatever obstacle is in front of you. Ain't that true?
And that's so true about life, period. No matter what, there's always a solution. I can't think of a situation where it's, well, that's just it. No, there's another way.
Yeah.
There's a way to get something done.
Yep. And the thing to it is to have the commitment.
Yes.
To see it through. You mentioned that a little bit too. Being committed when you don't feel like doing it. Ooh. Right? When you're tired, when people are against you, you know what I'm talking about. When people are saying, why are you doing that? It's not going to work. And you feel like just throwing your hands and saying, okay, that's when that commitment comes in to push yourself even when you don't feel like doing it.
Yes. I'll never forget one particular time I was doing a show. I had a show coming up, and the ticket sales, they were just like, I'm like, okay, time out. Is this the right thing? I'm like, okay, God, if this is this really what you want me to do? I'm like, look at these ticket sales. And I'm like, I've been doing this for a minute now. And I got a phone call from this lady. I didn't know her from a can of paint. She called the ticket line and she said, well, I just wanted to know, are you doing, she said, is this the number for the show? I can't recall what show she asked. And I said, yes, this is the phone number. She said, she said, who is this? I said, this is Phoenix. She said, oh, I'm so glad I got you. She said, I just wanted to call you to tell you to keep on doing what you're doing. Okay. Because you have really encouraged me and this and that. And I was feeling down that day. I was just like, oh God, I have to, what am I going to do? And this older lady just encouraged me and said I was on the right path. And when I got off the phone with her, Calvin, that just made me push harder. So I pushed harder, and we ended up having a very, very good show with a really nice sized audience. So you just have to push harder when you feel like this is it. Push harder.
Yep.
Push harder.
Yep, that is so true. And those words of encouragement sometimes can make the difference when you're in that spot.
Right.
When you're at that existence that you feel you're between the rock and a hard place, as they say, and you get that encouragement. Don't that make the difference?
Oh, it really, I'm telling you, it made my day. I had to call my mom. I was like, Mom, I was feeling down. She said, I told you in the right vein. I'm like, I know it, but sometimes you still need that push yourself. Even though you might be the motivator who push everyone else, sometimes you need someone to push you a little bit,
Oh yeah, as the lyrics to the song go, we all need somebody to lean on sometimes.
Yes.
We all need that push. So Phoenix, as far as any advice that you can give to someone that let's say want to start up a theater company or some kind of production company in this COVID or pandemic environment, what words of wisdom would you give to them?
Number one, if you want to, I think it's the perfect time to start anything, even with COVID or without COVID. But it's even better now because people are listening. You can take things online. You have a more captive audience. If I might say that, I would say map out a plan. Number one, you have to have a plan, know where you're going, and know what you want. Have a mission and have a goal, and just chip away at it. Do some research. If you know you want to start a theater company, a production company, you've never done it. This is your first time stepping into that arena. Do some research. Don't just do it. Do some research and make sure that's exactly what you want to do. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Because you want to make sure when you do it right. So do your research. Talk to other people that are in the industry and see what they have gone through. Learn from other people, get that wisdom. If they'll spend the time to talk to you. There's so many free seminars and webinars and Zoom meetings right now that are free that will allow you to educate yourself. So educate yourself on that field, in that field. And if this is what you want to do, I would say just go for it and stick with it. Stick with it and stay positive and leave the naysayers out of it. Even if it's a close friend that's a naysayer, stop telling them everything. Don't tell everybody every move you're making. Make the move first and then allow them to see it, because you don't want that out in the universe, in the environment, people speaking that negative stuff. Again, you trying that again, it didn't work the last time. Okay, maybe it didn't, but I want to try it again, and this time it'll work. So know who to talk to. Get those people around you who motivate you, pump you up, and believe in you.
That's
And
true.
the naysayers, you have to push them to the side. And it may be someone's close to you. Not to say that they're not in your corner. Generally, what I found out is that when you have naysayers, you listen to them and look at their life. It's because maybe they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they're like, "Man, are you really gonna do this?" But they didn't believe in what they're supposed to do.
There you
So
go.
it's not that they're so negative, so jealous of you, but you have to look at their background and you have to treat it as such and deal with them from a different angle.
That's true. I would also add to that. You mentioned ask questions. Get a mentor.
Yes.
Find someone that has done what you want to do, and ask them if they would show you some things, tell you some things. Buy them,
Right.
buy them a cup of coffee or whatever, and just say for the next 2 hours, I want to do a mental drain from your brain into mine. I have questions, and that would be so valuable to them.
Right.
I also believe that you mentioned don't tell everybody everything you're going to do.
Yes.
Yeah, don't. If you're playing poker, you're not going to show your cards. You're gonna kind of hide your cards a little bit. Put some shade
Right.
on them. You don't want to tell.
Right.
I have a family member. I tell that family member all the time. Don't tell all your business.
Right. Right.
You can give somebody the outline of what you're going to do, but make it short and sweet, and don't go into
Right.
details. Keep those
Right.
details for your own. Those are your heart's desires. Keep
Right.
them between you and your God, that you can talk to him about it.
Right.
Don't
That's
tell your
right.
cousin, don't tell your friend, don't tell your coworker.
Right.
I definitely believe in that. So, Phoenix, what do you have coming up? I know because you're the hardest working actor and producer. I know you got something coming up. What's coming up?
Well, by the end of the year, my second book will be out. I have out College Survival Kit: 10 Things Every Girl Should Know Before Going to College. So, College Survival Kit: 10 Things Every Guy Should Know Before Going to College will be out.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, we will have completed the full script of Stop, which is about stopping the violence, and it's a feature that will be a feature film, and I prayerfully will be able to start shooting in May of 2021. That feature. So
Now,
those are projects.
okay. Now, when you say stopping the violence, are you talking about um, the quote unquote black on black crime, or are you talking about the violence of the police brutality, or what is that about?
Actually, Stop started off as a stage play. I did that. I can't recall how many years ago in Chicago, a one act play, and you have in the it's a community, and the community is totally divided regarding the violence. It deals with the issue of the cops. It did back then, and which is still prevalent to this day. So it deals with the black on black crime. It deals with the dad who's doing what he's supposed to do, working hard, and the dad who's maybe doesn't have the tools and the resources to be a dad. So it deals with the entire community being in an uproar, and then the community coming together and say, wait. We need to switch gears and figure this out together. It will be a whole lot better if we just work together. So that's what Stop is about. That's what the play was about. And so that will be a full feature film next year.
Fantastic. Is that going to be shot here in Chicago?
Yes, shot here in Chicago with Chicago filmmakers and all of that. So
All
happy
right.
my cohorts who I met with last night. We're
Okay.
excited.
Fantastic. It's always good to have plans for the future. I think that is an important thing to have as well. A lot of people live day to day. They really don't have any plans for the day when they get up. They have no plans for tomorrow. They just kind of take it as it comes along. But man, when you have plans and you can see, for example, your film project go from thought to maybe paper, and then
Right.
from paper to committees, and then from committees to actually shooting, and then the big reveal or the birth. I mean, isn't that wonderful?
It's like really surreal. Like when and I always go back to From Slavery to the White House. When I see it, and I'm peeking, looking at the the actors backstage. It's like, wow, this is really phenomenal to see
Hmm.
this. How it started as just a thought, like you said, it started as a thought, and then from that thought to let me just jot some notes, and then wait, let me make some characters into an entire production because From Slavery to the White House actually started off as an audition piece for
Okay.
the DuSable Museum for me to be a resident artist there. And I had no idea. I had to write the play that Friday, come up with an idea Friday, cast it, and we had to perform it Monday.
Wow.
So you're talking about write it, go get wardrobe, all of that, and perform it Monday. And the young lady who was over the program and said, "You guys were the top." She was like, "Okay, so we want it." And from that point on, when we did it at the Village of Park Forest, and when I saw that line of people off the door, I knew we had a winner. And so that's when I extended it to make it the adult version, which is 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Wow.
So because it started out as a 60-minute piece for students.
Okay. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So back to your point, it's just beautiful to see your work. Like you said, it all starts with the thought and putting it down and putting it into action, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
When I was directing and producing stage plays, I would say it took like a 9-month process from thought to actually opening night. And
Yes.
I said, man, that's why this is my baby, because it took 9 months to get it,
Right.
to get it out. This is my baby.
Right.
But man, it feels so good once it's live. It has taken shape. It's a real thing. There's no better feeling in the world. So thank you for that. And when you get your production ready, the next production From Slavery to the White House, please come back with some cast members. I would like to help you promote it and get some of their views on what they're doing and the piece itself. So, Phoenix, if anyone has any questions for you, if they want to have you bring the show to their town, how can they get in contact with you?
They can go to my website, www.cphoenixtyler.com. They can hit me up on Facebook, Phoenix Tyler, Instagram, C Phoenix Tyler, Twitter, C Phoenix Tyler.
Okay.
So yeah.
And C is the letter C, PhoenixTyler.com.
That is correct. That is
Fantastic.
correct.
Well, Phoenix, I want to thank you so much for being on this segment of Drama Talk Radio.
Thank you. And I have to thank you. You've been in the industry, a staple in the industry for years too. And I have to give you kudos. You've always been positive. You've always pressed forward. You always uplifted other people. And so thank you for what you do. Thank you for being a positive influence in the community and in this industry as well. Hats off to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you got to do something when you can't play the leading man, the romantic interest anymore. You get
hey,
you get
wait,
past that
Kelvin,
age, you gotta do something.
No, Kelvin, let me get you on this one. My dad said, yes, you can. My dad said, hey, if they don't make you the lead, make your own lead. Write it yourself.
There you go. There you go. Go ahead, Dad. Dad's right. You're right. You're right. So that's about all, y'all, for this episode of Drama Talk Radio. I want to thank my host, Phoenix Tyler, for coming on.
Thank you.
And I'm your host, Calvin Gibbs, and it's always imparting that we take 2 steps to the rear and get on out of here until the next episode. Exit stage left.